Just about 2 years ago, I was in this very spot, the last Potter's Field in Philadelphia. While I was here, I did some exploring and I told the tragic story of two young children who were brought here unidentified and buried here. The girl in the box and the boy in the box. Sadly, from best I can tell through research online, there is no further information about the girl in the box other than the fact that they tried to exhume her body from here, but they were not successful in finding it. But for the boy in the box, at least we have some vindication, and we're going to get into his story. After coming through the threshold into the Potter's Field, you're greeted with this wide open grassy land. And you can see that there are some divots, for lack of a better term, in the ground where either bodies have been exhumed or searched for, or it could just merely be that the fiberboard boxes that they were buried in collapsed. I do know, as I mentioned, that they have tried to search for the girl in the box, and as far as I can tell, they have never had any luck, which is very sad, because she needs the same vindication that the boy in the box needs. They were searching for her so they could extract some DNA and try to figure out who she was, who her family is. This family might not even have any idea that their relative was the famous girl in the box. The boy in the box, as he would become to be known, was found in the woods off Susquehanna Road in the Fox Chase area of Philadelphia. His naked body, wrapped in a plaid blanket, was inside of a cardboard box that had once contained a bassinet. His hair had been recently cropped, possibly post-mortem, as there were still clumps of hair clinging to his body. There was definite signs of severe malnourishment, as well as surgical scars on the ankle and groin and an L-shaped scar under his chin. The police received the report and opened up an investigation on February 26, 1957. The dead boy's fingerprints were taken, and the police at first were optimistic that he would be identified. However, no one ever came forward with any useful information. The case attracted considerable media attention in Philadelphia and the surrounding areas. The Philadelphia Inquirer printed 400,000 flyers depicting the boy's likeness, which were sent out and posted all across the area. The crime scene was combed over and over again by 270 police academy recruits, who discovered a man's blue corduroy cap, a child's scarf, and a man's white handkerchief with the letter G in the corner. All clues that led to nowhere. The police also distributed a post-mortem photograph of the boy fully dressed in a seated position, as he may have looked in life, in hopes that someone might come forward or it might lead to a clue. Fast forward now to 1998, his body was exhumed for the purpose of extracting DNA, which was obtained from a tooth. Once again, fast forward to March 21st, 2016, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children released a forensic facial reconstruction of the victim and added him into their database. The body was then exhumed again in 2019 to retrieve additional DNA samples. The child was an unidentified murder victim for decades. However, on November 30th, 2022, the Philadelphia Police Department announced that they had identified the child through the use of genetic testing and investigative genetic genealogy, and that they would provide a case update in the following week. Sources stated that the child was of a prominent family in Delaware County. Authorities said that the investigation will use this new information to continue their search for suspects. Investigators were finally able to identify him after a second cousin once removed uploaded DNA to the public database. Investigators subsequently encouraged that person's mother, a first cousin of the victim, to submit a genetic profile to GED Match, which she did, allowing investigators to identify his parents. A court order for the child's birth certificate was then made. Both of his biological parents have since deceased, but he does have living half-siblings. On December 8th, 2022, the child was publicly identified as 4-year-old Joseph Augustus Zarelli, born January 13th, 1953. So here we could see the placard that was dedicated to America's unknown child, and this is roughly about where they found him. I can't say for certain this is the exact spot, but if I back up here, I can almost, and I'm trying not to get this truck's license plate in there, I can almost match up a picture that I saw, and the landscape is the same, and the street angle is the same from some of the other pictures I've seen. However, if this is the exact spot, we right now would be looking dead on at the box, and I believe the opening would have been facing us from what I saw in the pictures. And here's a better look at the plaque. This was erected as an Eagle Scout service project, and from what someone just told me that passed by, a very nice woman, she had said that the scouts had raised money themselves just to get this placard here, and it was done in November of 2017, so it hasn't been here all that long. But I'm going to pan down, and as you could see, people had decorated this partially at the bottom here and left some presents or gifts, I guess you could say, in remembrance of said boy in the box. Now, the woman that I had talked to had said that they actually had a Christmas tree here and everything during Christmas time, so it was really nice, and I would have liked to have seen that, but I've missed it by a few weeks. This is the stone that marked his grave over at the Potter's Field. Right now, we are actually at Ivy Hill Cemetery, where his final resting place is. And here are his stones. Joseph Augustus Zarelli. Born January 13th, 1953. Died February 25th, 1957. Much like at the plaque, you can see that people do leave some gifts here for him. And I'm sure he gets a lot of visitors every day. But at least he can rest knowing that his identity has been known now. The only thing we need to find out now is what happened. And we may never, ever know exactly what happened to him. There are multiple stories that circulated. I don't think anything ever led to any hard proof of what exactly happened to Joseph. Now, while there may be records, official records, of people who are buried here, I am sure, knowing how close we are to Byberry Mental Hospital, or rather where it was, and all the misdoings there, the treatment of the people there, and the fact that it was a state-run hospital, and people having certain clearances, who knows how many more people are buried here? Untold stories. Unknown that they are even here. That could have been patients over at Byberry Mental Hospital, State Hospital, however you want to say it. There could be hundreds, thousands of untold stories of people who are buried here, and the world may never know. It really, truly is sad. And much like I said in my first video here, when you're in this place, knowing what it is, and it could be the mind playing tricks on you, but you do feel this sadness, this sense of gloom. And again, it could just be the mind playing tricks, because we know that this is a burial place for the unknown and the unclaimed. Well, I want to thank you for coming along with me as I explore once again the city's last Potter's Field. I want to thank everyone for their support and their kind words. As I've stated before, you are all awesome, and I appreciate each and every one of you. With that, I'm going to turn around, get my stuff, and get out of here. I will see you all in the next one. Make sure you stay safe, stay healthy, and take care.